English, motherfucker, do you see?
The lies! There you go, bitch. I'm telling
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First off, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast. I know that's what you're looking for, with a minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Welcome back, all my nerds, geeks, blurs, and freaks. I'm your host, Q, and today's episode, I am sharing my interview that I had with the wonderful gentleman over at the Animeshun Podcast. If you've never heard of them, you should. You should go right over to their Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your streaming from, and look them up. They also have a YouTube channel. So the name of their show is Animeshun Podcast. It's ANIMESHUN Podcast. We all sat down and we talked about the movie Berserk. It was the first arc. There's 3 arcs in the trilogy. So we just sat down and had a good time and tripped the hell out and acted damn fools. So either you want to go check the movie out first before you listen to the podcast, or vice versa. But hold tight and give it a listen.
I have the power of God and anime on my side!
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, 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 yes!
Feel incredible!
It's not a cartoon, it's anime!
Yeah! Oh, I almost passed out. Shit. Welcome to another episode.
He
I
has
think I'm
water.
dehydrated.
He has water.
Okay.
He's drinking water, just so y'all know if you're not watching it.
Welcome to another episode of Animeshun. The squad is back. Myself, Brennan, Ice, Rob. We have special guest, Gadget Geekery, aka Q. We're gonna have a quick moment of silence for George Floyd and all the Black lives and from all the police brutality stuff that's been going on, man. So we're gonna have a quick moment of silence. All right, yeah, we are back.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
Black
Black
Lives
Lives Matter for sure.
No justice, no peace. All right, I'm done.
So,
give me one more, Brittany.
No justice, no peace. I'm with it. I was actually at a protest today, so go ahead.
I was too.
Yeah.
Which one?
It's good.
Dude.
So this week,
No,
This
man,
week,
I'm serious.
I know, cause you be going hard in the paint.
you be going hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a special guest this week, Gadget Geekery, aka Q. This is also a special episode, man. This is our 100th episode.
Today, 100th episode?
100.
Yo, I need to get a life.
100.
It's okay, Brennan. You were only here for like 50 of those, you know.
Right.
So.
Okay, Rob. I see where we are today.
Brent,
I see where we are today, Rob. Y'all, stay tuned for the White Guilt. Stay tuned for White Guilt. Go on.
Oh my god.
That-
Like
that was
firing
amazing.
shots at a black man during this time in America.
Yo.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
Hey, let me tell you something. That's the cards you play, Brennan. God damn it. That's the cards you play.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
man.
I'm not gonna say
Goddamn,
shit
man.
about that.
Rob, where's your comeback?
He can't come back.
What am I gonna say?
Shots at another
What am I
black
gonna
man again?
say? That's checkmate, man.
It's like, I'm here so I don't get fined. That's all.
I am here so I don't get fined.
But Keenan, that's not the only historical moment of this show.
This is our first lady
Yeah.
on
Absolutely.
the on
Oh,
the
dang,
podcast.
we late.
And
We late.
here's the thing, before y'all get on us about being, oh, y'all don't want women on here. We have tried.
We
I
have
put out
tried.
a call for black.
I have-
We
We did
were
actually.
trying to
I
get
agree with
people on
that.
the we put out a call in the sense of like people coming to the studio. And so I was trying to find anybody because we weren't doing phone calls, like Zoom and stuff yet. And I put out a call, and everybody that I knew said, "Oh, I don't got a car to get down there." And I'm like, "We're not that far. There's Uber down here." "Oh, I can't get down there because I don't know." And I'm just like, "All right, man."
I really was on him to get somebody on the show, and they wasn't able.
No, what?
Get your ass back
I
in
was-
the fire.
Yeah, no, you was not.
Yes, I was.
I was the main one saying from the beginning. What are you talking about?
So what's really exciting is Q is here, and I'm a big fan of Gadget Geekery because her Instagram is lit. She makes a lot of content herself. She is a nerd, a nerd's nerd. As you can see by all the colors she's rocking by like right now. And
Glasses,
she's
lips.
yeah, all
hair.
of it. And she's probably the most active person in the group chat that we have for Animeshun.
Definitely.
Even though this is our first time actually physically talking, I already feel like I know you. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I have petty arguments. I be in my car trying to dissolve the shit. I'm like, oh, bitch, they are in those spirits.
And shout out to her again because she actually had me on her podcast, which I greatly appreciated. She showed me mad love. I'm assuming y'all gonna be on there at some point.
Whoa! I'm feeling some type of way. Okay, no, it's whatever. I see what the values are. Good job, Keith.
I see where it is.
I honestly thought Rob was gonna be the first guest. I honestly thought he was.
Now, Keenan, why would you say that? Q, hold on, Q. Why would Keenan say that about Rob? I'm curious.
I don't know.
Rob's blushing, dog.
He has a very melodious voice.
Oh, thank you very much.
Melodious voice.
That's what you gonna say? Okay.
Melodious.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know
We're
I
keeping
don't
it
know if she's
PG
talking
today,
about
guys.
Rob or Barry White. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Talking about Rob. Don't let it be any confusion. When I first started listening to the show, and he was like doing most of the, the narrate through the show, I was like,
Right.
ain't the good brother. He kept me leaped in. I'm all road raging. I'm like, talk to me, Rob.
Talk to her, Rob. Talk to her, Rob.
Talk to her, Rob.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
Just
Oh,
say your
hey.
ABC.
Talk. I see some
Say
merch.
your ABCs.
I see some merch on the way. Talk to me, Rob. That's definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still working from home. I gotta look into like a fans only account or some shit. Maybe just like read the telephone book or something. I don't know.
OnlyFans, Rob. OnlyFans.
just for your voice.
And it'll be only voice.
Exactly, only voice.
That
shows you that Rod doesn't actually know what OnlyFans is. He said fans only page.
Fans only, guys.
Fans only. You can only come here if you're a fan. Positive attitudes only.
This is what engaged looks like. Right there.
It's true.
That's
Yes.
exactly.
I'm engaged.
I'm married, so.
Yeah.
She's like, what's the problem?
But I'm gonna tell you, my husband got home. He was like, "What the hell? You ain't had makeup on in almost 3 fucking months." This is for Rob.
I'm talking to Rob today.
She just said she had to make. She was about to put it on. She was like, "Wait, is Rob gonna be on there?" So,
Yeah.
if it was just us three, she was like, "Fuck that." They get barefaced. Rob was
We're gonna
there.
get chapped lips and a head wrap.
So let's.
All right, so I did some research, guys.
Go ahead, Ice. Hold on. Go ahead, Ice.
Why would you give him the space? Why would you give him the space?
Because he's gonna do it regardless.
It's gonna come. I was gonna interrupt you regardless. So you might as well just give me the time and the autonomy to do what I need to do, and that is say that this is
I hate
the
Rob's
greatest
face right now.
fucking anime podcast in the entire world. You talked in the middle of it, so I gotta say it again. This is the greatest fucking anime podcast in the entire world.
Bam.
It's tradition
There
now.
we go.
Like, you gotta have it. You gotta have
I mean,
it.
yeah.
I said
I
with
love
you in
it.
the car, Ice. I said with you in the
I
car.
appreciate that. And I saw some YouTube comments. One of the guys, I think it's Mike Hall, he made the acronym for it, which I can't think off the top of my head. But I appreciate that. I appreciate you giving it the acronym, Mike.
So Q, you picked an anime for us.
Yes.
You picked Berserk: The Golden Age arc.
Yes.
Do you mind if I give it the breakdown, or you want to give a breakdown?
Oh no, you can go ahead.
You're like, I didn't do that research. You got it, Brennan.
I was doing it. It was the second arc, right?
The first.
No.
The first one.
I'm
I was gonna say, I was about to be lost for
I was about to
60
say,
minutes.
and I'm taking him off the Zoom chat.
I've seen Berserk, so I already know what's going on.
Okay, so what we watched was Berserk: The Golden Age arc. This is an anime movie that's actually a trilogy, but it's actually supposed to be 4 movies, but only 3 have come out thus far. It was originally released in February 4th, 2012. The studio was 4 degrees Celsius. That's an interesting studio because I was looking into them yesterday. They do a lot of feature films, but the thing that made it the most interesting to me is they did one of my like fundamental things that helped me really get into anime. They did 5 segments on the Animatrix, which I was just like when the Animatrix hit me. I don't know if you guys watched it. I was like, what is this? I was all in. I was like, okay, where's the next one? And obviously that didn't quite go the way I wanted. But they worked on a lot of other stuff, like a lot of American stuff, like the Transformers anime, Thundercats. 2011, they co-produced that with Warner Bros. Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox, which was a movie.
Ooh, they did that?
They did that.
That was fire.
Yeah, they've done a lot of.
That was a great DC movie. That's one of
the best ones.
DC pulls up for their movies, man. Like they're
Animated
movies. I'm sorry. Thank you guys. Thank you.
All the other shit is dumpster juice.
Yeah.
It's funny how all of us was in the same accord when we said that.
No, you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, their animated movies go hard. But they also like work with video games, like Street Fighter 4, like from 2008.
I can see that.
Rogue
I can absolutely see
Galaxy,
that.
Genetic Summon Night 3, Ace Combat 4. They do a lot of stuff. Like they're all over the place. Commercials. Kind of remind me of my production company. It seems like whenever they get an opportunity, they're like, yeah, we could do that. You know, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so they did that. The director was a guy named Toshiyuka Kabuka. I'm sorry, fam. I'm sorry.
Man, now that we have a 100th episode, we gotta go back and like do a supercut of Brennan trying to pronounce all these director names.
It's Japanese words are hard.
They are.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh, I see what you did there. She's been looking at our content. He did Batman Gotham Knight as a segment producer. He did Gunbuster. He did a lot of stuff I haven't heard of. Maybe you guys have. He only did this one Berserk movie. He didn't do the other ones.
He got fired.
Yeah, he did Giant Robo, Yamada 2050. Did a lot of video games, but honestly, his discography or his filmography ain't that great. To be fully honest, because I'm like, I didn't really recognize him.
You gonna fuck with just because you don't know it.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
You gonna discredit what he doing?
I mean, this is the lowest rated of the 3 movies from the trilogy. I'll say that.
Oh, it is?
Oh yeah. By all accounts.
I guess for good reason.
I mean, there's a lot of establishing stuff or whatever. But either way, the writer of this actually is.
Wait, time out. Did you see Q's face? When he said, I guess for a good reason, she was like, I'm about to slap this out the gate. We're not even 10 minutes in the podcast.
Q, what did you expect? It's ice. Like, what did you expect?
This. I will talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
This movie is stupid.
Oh my goodness! All right,
I forgot this motherfucker, the king of trash.
King. So the writer,
I mean, we can put Berserk right there too.
The writer actually wrote all 3 movies that came out. He also did a Mobile Suit Gundam movie called Mobile Suit the 08th MS Team. I haven't heard of it. It's came out in 2013.
Come on, Mobile Suit.
Devilman Crybaby. He wrote that actually.
Trash.
That's trash.
That was the weirdest that might be the weirdest anime experience I had. It wasn't the worst anime experience I've ever had. Gangsta still holds that honor. But
Yeah.
But
you said that on purpose. You wanted me to act up.
What? You like Gangsta?
I still like gangster.
Why
Cheating. This is like for real affirmative action is the only reason she's here. Like, if we had known, I'm just saying, like, wow, okay, I can't even.
Still like Gangsta said, no one ever.
Yo, like she.
I'm somebody, goddammit.
She just needs a hug.
You know what's crazy?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. I'm almost done. He did Code Geass movie. He also did Lupin the Third Part 5 movie. And Turn to Gundam. He did that was his first one, and the most recent one was the Code Geass Lelouch of the Resurrection. Was pretty cool, and he wrote a bunch of novels. So I'm like, that's what's up. But so when I talk about the reception, like I was saying, that this is the lowest rated of the three movies. It was because, like, even if you look at like on Rotten Tomatoes, believe it or not, whatever, they got 75%. The next movie, which is called Battle of the Doldry, got 85%, and the movie after that got 85% as well. The rating on IMDb is the overall rating on Google is 3.8 out of 5, and IMDb ratings for their three movies are 7.6 for this one, 7.8 for the second one, 7.9 for the third one. This movie grossed about $1.3 million. So it did okay.
Grossed it where?
It said the King of Rum brought in $500 with a gross of 1.3. So it actually made, so it looks like, the way that I'm reading this, it looks like it probably made around $800,000 profit. No, it cost. So it said, I'm just going to read it to you. The King brought in $594,000 with a gross of 1.3 million. So the difference between the two would be like 800,000. So that's how much it cost to make. I would assume is this cost about $800,000 to make. I don't know if it was box office.
You said it got the lowest rating, like out of all three. Like it got the lowest, like a bad rating. I'm thinking like a 3, and they got 7s and 8s. It's like a point
I didn't say it's like the lowest as if this is a bad movie, but more so like the other two movies got rated higher. That's just what it did. Like barely. No, I mean on the Rotten Tomatoes is 10% lower. That's actually a big difference on Rotten Tomatoes. 75 to 85% rating. That's a big deal. Especially when you're looking at the aggregate. On the other ones, I agree. It's very similar. I think it comes down to subjective measure, which we're about to subject ourselves to. So, but yeah, that's what I got.
Okay.
Q, did you have any other backstory to give on this? This is an adaptation or like a reboot of an older show, isn't it?
Berserk.
Yeah, when did that come out? Was it the 90s, late 80s, 80s, 90s?
1996.
Yeah. I never saw the original. I came in when they made the reboot, basically. So the movies are what led me into the remixed anime.
Are you when you say the remix, do you mean the CGI one?
Say that again?
The CGI one?
Yeah.
Oh
my!
I couldn't watch that.
It came out.
You don't know the real Berserk.
So the
I go back. But I'm not a fan of CGI either, but I like the story. I like how they use it. Now in the anime, they overused it. In the movies, in the larger scenes, they used it, and then the close-ups in the story, when they were telling the story, they used the animation. If you notice that, so it wasn't overused. Well,
it started to be in print in 1989 to 2016, which is ridiculous. That's a really long run.
Wow, that's insane.
And then they started a new one in 2016 that's currently still running. So. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And the anime started, the original anime run that you were talking about, Q, started in 1997. It ran from 1997 to 1998. And then the newest one then there's another one that went from 2016 to 2017. But yeah, there you go. Sorry. You said you didn't know the years, so I'm just like, I got it. I got internet. I'm that guy.
Google food.
Well, let's get it started. Oh, real quick too, she said something about gangster earlier. I was on an anime forum, and there's quite a bit of fans that fuck with gangster. We might be somewhat in the minority.
I think,
which is crazy.
A lot of people do a lot of.
Didn't watch it.
No, people do a lot of drugs, guys. Like, there's a lot of people who also. There's also a lot of people who aren't taught critical thinking. Public education isn't all that great for it. So
there you go.
Damn. So I'm just saying, like, we just look at the population as a whole. It's just like
you realize we have somebody on this podcast.
Yeah, damn, Brennan.
Yeah, she is gonna.
Our guest, Brennan.
Just for the record, she was already coming at me in the group chat before she even came on today. The gloves are off. I'm just saying, if you can't start the episode putting up for gangsta and expect me not to come for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you ain't got no support over here. Look at Rob's face. He wants to support you. He got nothing for you. You see Ice? Nothing but trash
What's so
coming out of that
crazy
face.
is that I hit Keenan, it was months ago. I was like, hey man, you need to watch Gangster. And he was like, okay. And then I never heard nothing else again. And that was before I even started listening to you guys. I was like, oh, okay, I guess he didn't like it. So I just, but I just like the style of it. I don't know. You guys break it down to like the atoms, and I'm just like...
No, we break it down to like, was that a fun thing to watch? Like, that's what it really comes down to. And it wasn't. Was it interesting? No. Were characters developed? No. Was anybody I care about? No. Was there a dope fight? No. Why did you like it?
One of Rob's biggest
the
rants. One of Rob's biggest rants came from Gangster that I put in the chat.
What the fuck is up with their hands?
I'm so glad I captured that. I mean, granted, it's on the podcast, but I'm glad I captured the visual of that because he was so upset. He was so upset.
I had it. I had it with the show by that point. I'm sorry.
He had it with the show, and it's only 12 episodes long. It's not like it was a long show.
Like it was
episode 6.
Yeah.
Rob was like, "Fuck it."
I can't take it anymore.
It was like,
crazy.
Everybody, this is white rage. Don't make me white.
All right, well, let's Rob, you want to do the
Just
honor
start it off,
of
Rob.
breaking it down?
Yeah. So this Berserk opens pretty berserk. It starts out on this crazy epic assault on this castle. It's like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, like they are coming in. Like shit is going off. There's like catapults like throwing huge firing rocks and shit like that. It's crazy violence like right off the top.
Yo, you
I don't
see
know
what
Brendan-
she did? Rob started talking and she was just like,
I said, hold on, let me get my ears ready.
like she was already just like,
I
oh,
didn't see that.
that's why I'm laughing. As soon as Rob started talking, I looked right at her and she was just like, go ahead, Rob.
See, I messed up. I went to wipe my nose, and I missed all of that.
Oh my God, you guys
Let
have
me
to watch
move
the
my
YouTube
weave out
version
the
of
way.
this.
I don't want to muffle the sound.
Nah, she's trying to hear every bit of it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be distracted.
Well, first of all, Rob, I think you. I don't know if you. I feel like you might just be skimming over that. I think that opening scene with like how it was just like quiet, how things were happening.
I thought
That
that
shit was
dope.
fire to me.
I thought it was so
That shit was dope as hell.
That was some gladiator shit.
When the
For sure,
when the
yeah.
crow got hit with the fireball and landed and did the transition to how we see the battle, I was just like, this might
That
be a
was
good
hard.
movie. This might be a good movie. I don't know. Like I'm in. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. So they're doing a full-on assault on this castle. They're bringing in like, shit to bust down the doors, and like the invading army gets in. But as they get in there, they're greeted with this big dude named Bazusa, who's got this crazy axe, and he's just like, he's murdering people like wholesale,
bad.
just like sweeping through them.
Yeah.
To the point where everybody's just like, I'm not going up next.
Would you?
and
Would any of you be the person to step up to somebody like him in a battle?
We here for a reason. We signed up for this. Like,
I want to go to battle with
They didn't
Ice.
sign up. They
I
didn't
wanna
sign
go
up for
to-
this.
I want to go to a battle with Ice because I want him to be the one to stand up. But you know what? I can take
But
him.
here's-
I'm like, go get him.
But
Ice.
here's the thing.
I mean, not that I
They
can.
didn't sign up. They didn't sign up for battle. They signed up for money. If you realize in this whole, they keep saying we're getting paid to do this.
Yeah,
they don't
paid
want
the
to be here,
mercenaries.
bro.
Yeah.
Then why?
They don't
I
wanna be
mean,
here.
then you need to be a blacksmith.
I mean, you think like, well, we're gonna do some stuff here and there, and all of a sudden you see this big ass motherfucker.
I'll be an
You ain't prepared
archer
for
back
that.
there like.
That's something you need. If
Hey, man.
you know what you signed up for.
No, that's why people don't trust mercenaries, because they can immediately just be like, I'm done with this shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't answer to you. I'm out of here. So that's
Yeah.
exactly what's happening, is all these people are like, I'm not getting paid enough for this. Like, I don't have any sort of loyalty to these people. And they're about to fucking lose this battle because nobody wants to go up against this dude until another mercenary steps up out of the rank and file and just like, I'll do it for 10 silver. And the captain, feeling, I don't know, pretty brave, ready to haggle at that point, is like, I'll give you 7. And he's just like, all right, shit, cheap ass bastard. Like, I'll do it, fine.
No, I was like 10. You see this motherfucker? 10. 10.
Yeah. Yep. If
But,
you ain't gonna do it, it's 10.
Yeah, I mean, because nobody else is doing it at that point. But,
Right. You can really state your price.
But Guts steps forward, who ends up being our protagonist for this. He steps forward and starts fighting this dude. He's trying to, it's kind of like a speed versus power fight here. He's just trying to overwhelm him with blows. But, Bazuso's pretty strong. Like they said, he can kill 30 dudes at a time. So he starts to overwhelm him a little bit. But Guts manages to like chip his axe a little bit. And it ends up saving his life because when Bazuso comes at him, he just takes off Guts' helmet, and Guts, meanwhile, sees the opening,
Slices his guts.
cuts him right in half, and the dude starts begging for his life. Yeah, dude starts begging for his life, and boom, Guts is not here for it, ends him. And in the distance,
Yeah. We skipped a few things. I was gonna say one, we got introduced to Guts kind of at the beginning, him jumping by and slicing cats up. But during this war, motherfuckers is playing the drums and instruments. Are you being one of those guys? Like, I'm not. You can't just say go to war and here's your drum set. So you out here Nick Cannon drumlining this shit, and you take an arrow to the eye, nigga. Like, that's
because they're not gonna be like, oh no, that's the drummer. I'm gonna chill on him. Like
exactly. They're not supposed to shoot you.
Is that a sword or a flute? Oh no, okay, all right.
No, they used to talk about like people that held the flag, people that like did the drums. They took them out first because like that's the morale. Like that's the dude holding the symbol of their fucking army. Kill that dude. They would use the drums to give out orders because drums carry noise. So like certain beats like would be like advance, retreat. So if you kill that dude, the army can't do shit. They don't know what the message is.
Imagine surviving and then like you telling war stories and it's like, what did you do, Dad? It's like, well, I fucked that triangle up.
The triangle?
That triangle?
What song? That was my question. What song would you guys play? If you had to be the drummer, what song would you play for morale?
Vice versa by Pastor Troy.
Okay. Anything Pastor Troy is kind of tough.
Kind of tough, yeah.
Wait, Rob, do you know that song?
Rum.
What's that? Yin Yang Twins, To the Window.
To the Window. Lil Jon?
That's Lil Jon, yeah.
That would be a dude. This that initial.
They'll be dancing. They'll be like to the window. Rob. Oh, go ahead, Ice.
No, you go, Rob.
I don't know. I'm doing fucking like wipeout on that shit. Just get in there, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, that's drumline shit. That's like, let's do Flight of the Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Gadget, you said, what did Gadget say? She said, windows to the wall?
Yeah.
Ice, what'd you say?
I don't know. I think I would do Only a Hero Can Save.
Motherfucker, you beat me to it. He did it on purpose too. He was like, let me cut it before he does it. Oh, you bastard.
Cut you off at the pass.
I'll go with the other one then. There goes my hero. I'll go with Foo Fighters then. Fuck it.
You'll die first singing that shit.
Oh, man.
Is he playing? What are they going to get? Nickelback, kill him first.
You gotta go. I'm fuck an arrow. I'm coming at you first with like a sword. Like you're not getting no out like that. You die a slow, painful death.
Ice, if that was Ice, he would get all the money for that kill. I bet you. Just kill me playing that song. War's over. We're done.
We're good.
All right,
I'm punching out.
What happens next?
All right, so after Guts kills that dude, the advance starts again. Everybody's like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!" And then like there's another group of mercenaries off in the distance, kind of watching this all happen. I guess they turned up late, but they recognize Guts' strength, and we learned that their leader's named Griffith, and he's sort of watching him intensely, like, all right, like who is this dude? And we pan down and we see he's got like this weird kind of philosopher's stone egg thing hanging from his neck.
Did y'all all out the gate knew Griffin was a dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew because I watched it, but even initially
Okay.
when I watched it the first time, I knew.
I was like, I said she must be a bad motherfucker. If she's just standing here at war. She was like, she tough.
I got very strong Canute vibes from Griffith for sure.
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
When we get to it, yeah, definitely
For sure. But after the battle, Guts and the other soldiers, they're just, they're punching out. They're getting their paycheck. City's totally destroyed. And as Guts goes to the table, the commander, like his lord, is just like, hey, man, I can give you a full-time job. Like, we can do this all the time. Like, I can make you a squire. It's every mercenary's dream to be a squire. And Guts says a line that's super important here. He says, you can't eat dreams. You don't own me. He's just like, I'm doing my own thing. But he immediately is just like, fuck dreams. Like, I'm just trying to survive. And he leaves the city and everybody's just like, all right. What are we going to do with this guy? But as he's leaving, he gets assaulted by those same mercenaries that were watching him. They come riding over a hill on a bunch of horses, and he's all right. Like, he's not scared by this at all. Like, a bunch of dudes coming at him on horseback, he just puts down his stuff, gets into position, and just gets ready. And he just starts mowing people down. And, like, even the guy that's leading him is just like, oh, shit. Yeah. The rest of them are up on the hill just like, oh, man, like, we're getting killed down there. Like, his fight against that other dude wasn't a fluke. And there's this woman that's with him. Her name is Casca, and she's sort of laughing at the dude that's leading him, just like, you know, he's over his head again. And Griffith, now out of his armor, you know, very pretty man, laying down, looking at the clouds. It's just like, hey.
That motherfucker was beautiful.
Who else is beautiful, Q? Who else is beautiful?
Shit, Guts. Oscar. They can all get it.
He was trying to
get
lead you to
there.
say Rob. Yeah.
Ah, damn. Rob,
Nah, but
it's always you. You got it? Is that out of the way?
Thank you. I got it.
If I had to save these other motherfuckers, I'd save you first.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Wait, but who's second though?
I'm still on the fence about that. So continue.
Yeah. Good answer.
So Casca's just like, oh fuck, like why, like why do I gotta go save it? And like Griffith just gives her a look, and it's just like, do that shit. And so she's like, all right, fine. Like she rides down, comes in, tries to save her buddies, like shoots Guts in the arm with one of her crossbows. She's dual wielding like a crossbow and a fucking sword. Like I thought she was about to get in on some shit, but once again, Guts is not a problem with a horse. Like, just takes that thing out at the legs, and she goes head over heels.
Peter was all over that ass.
Which I feel like more people should do in battle. Like, I don't think they really do that enough. Like, I'm taking your horse.
I wonder, is that sacred in battle back then? I wonder. It might have been sacred in battle. No, he's probably like, no, not at all.
Nah, I don't think they give a shit about horses. They didn't give a shit about anything, man.
Yeah. You see 300, they ain't give a fuck about them horses.
Yeah, right. I don't even think they named horses, probably because they didn't want to get attached to them. But yeah, no. So he takes out the horse, and like he's quickly overpowering her, and everybody is again just like, holy shit! Like, you know, people don't just do this to Casca, but it's Griffith that comes to her rescue at that point, throws down like a javelin right in between the two of them, and it's just like, hey, like it's you and me. And Guts tries to do the same trick, like comes at him on the horse, but Griffith is quick. He's clearly got more skill than Guts in this situation. Just blocks that stuff, like redirects it, and then just like taps him right in the chest, like gets him right in an artery or something, because that his blood pressure must have plummeted because he immediately passes out.
But the
thing about Guts' sword is that it's huge, and that's something that they talk about early on. Is like, how is he able to wield? It's like, this is not a traditional sword. It's not like cloud level big, but it's a big sword compared to everybody else in battle. And freaking Griffith pull up with this Excalibur as like thin sword. So it's like, you know, it kind of explains what kind of people they are.
For sure.
Go ahead, Q.
No, that's what I was gonna say. He's got the fucking, what was the girl in Game of Thrones? What was that little needle? This nigga had a needle.
Oh, yeah, he's like Arya's needle,
Yeah, and I'm like, he's just like, you know what? It was all in the motion of it, because even when he stuck him, it was just a simple move. He just slid into him. So he was using his power against him and just sliding around on that big-ass blade. So he got finesse.
Yeah, definitely. He's got skill, and he clearly outclasses Guts in this situation, and as he's passed out, Guts starts having like all these fever dreams. We get some quick flashes of what must have been his past, you know, getting trained. Seems like maybe his teacher named Gambino trained him and then died. I'm not really sure exactly what happened. You know, we're still kind of a mystery here, but we get, you know, just those little pieces of his past. But he wakes up in like a cold sweat in this tent now. But Casca's laying next to him. But it certainly isn't romantic, because she immediately gets up, starts getting dressed, and he's like, yo, where the fuck am I? Like, what's going on? And she just like gut punches him twice. It's just like, that's for my horse. I'm out of here.
Punched him in the wound.
Yeah.
Which is like,
those shots like that hurt it. But too, I was like, she's a rider for her dude Griffith. He was like, yo, Griffith's only told me to be here to keep you warm because I need to keep you warm to keep you alive or some shit like that.
Yeah, some warm shit.
Yeah. And then she bounces, but she socked him up with some Tyson hits.
The 1-2. Yeah.
Yeah. She socked him up hard, and he's left there he's like throwing up on his cot. But he gets dressed and he walks out and sees it. It's a pretty busy camp. Like there's people playing chess, like cleaning their horses, but all of them are giving him weird looks. And there's this one guy named Judea who's carving. He's doing some like whittling, and it's kind of just like, hey, you should, because he comes out and he's just like, man, that bitch, and he's just like, you owe her your life, man. Like she kept you warm on Griffith's orders, so she saved you basically.
For days.
But he
CGI titties don't hit the same.
but
CGI titties.
Yo, I want to go back just 1 second. I took a couple notes on this. There's one part I missed. No, there's one part I missed that I wanted to say is that when the bandits attacked Guts, one of the coolest things that happened in this whole movie to me was when he killed one of them. The guts spilled, and they actually sprayed the camera lens. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, you don't see that very often. That's two times now. The angle up with the crow coming down, and one time with the blood splatter. I was like, interesting.
I like that it did that, and then it shifted it did a shift to the camera. Like I thought that's what like solidified it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm sorry. Please continue.
But he's explaining how Casca saved his life, and then he quickly saves his life, taking out a fucking murder hornet, that's just about to sting him, like throws a knife at him.
I hit the balls because I laughed so hard.
Murder hornet.
Yeah, those are originally from Japan, so like.
There's so many levels.
You think that's a direct translation? Like, is that what they call them in Japan? Murder hornets, or is that just like somebody in the news was just like murder hornets?
I don't think
this is a good headline.
Yeah.
Fear.
Just imagine fighting for your life. A girl having to keep you warm to come back alive. You in a coma for 2 days, and all to wake up and get killed by a fucking hornet. Like,
oof.
After you just beat up this big, tough, fat dude, chopped his guts up.
It's a cold world out there, man. You got to have your EpiPen on you. That's tough.
You die from cholera. Like, that sucks.
So Griffith approaches then, and he's kind of just like, oh, like, you're awake, and like immediately hands him back his sword. So it's clear Guts is not a prisoner here. He's trying to like kind of almost put him on equal footing here. Just like, hey, like you're welcome here. Like, come walk with me. Like, I want to explain to you where we are. And Casca is following closely behind, keeping an eye on things, because obviously she looks up to Griffith, but I think she clearly has some romantic feelings for him as well. And it's just sort of like, hey, like what's going on here exactly?
Who wouldn't? You see this guy?
Exactly. Because I don't know if I'm the only one, but every time he came on the screen, I got Prince vibes. Like he just laid on you, man.
I literally
I can see that.
wrote that in my notes.
I was just waiting
Prince.
for that nigga to say blouses.
After he whipped his ass, he should have just gave him some pancakes. He should have gave him pancakes afterwards.
It's like I
Should have
want
woke up to that
to.
naked girl and pancake.
This is one of the few times I've watched an anime where there's a protagonist or a male in the show that looks just like a woman. Like first time he showed up on the scene, I was like, this is a woman. All day. I was like, this is a woman. The first few scenes, because it was like the sun coming in, the hair flipping. I was just like, obviously Griffith is a woman, just like the subordinate's a woman. And it's just like, no, this is a man. Then I was like, let me talk shit. And he just gave the hands to gut. I'm just like, okay.
Anime should have already proved as much anime as you've watched. You should have known that was a dude.
I'm just saying, like with the hands that he has though, like
yes. I mean, there's a lot of like women looking dudes in anime, like feminine looking characters.
Well, look at the freaking K-pop bands. They prettier than girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was getting me some Brad Pitt Legends of the Falls vibes from him. It was just Brad Pitt was sexy than a motherfucker. He'll put them hands on you.
He will. Yeah, because he takes Guts through the camp and explains like, hey, we're the Band of the Hawk, and Guts immediately recognizes that. He's just like, oh shit, like you don't want to run into you guys on the battlefield. Like I know who you are. Name. Yeah, it's a cool name. And Griffith leads him up and he's just like, hey, basically, I recognize your skill. Like I saw you fight. Like it was close. Like Bazuso almost had you, but like you got skill. Like, and I want you to join my army. And Guts is kind of just like, well, what if I say no? And Griffith is really taken back by that. He's just like, well, why would you? He's like, no, fuck off. Like, you can't just win me over with words. Like, basically, like, show me how you want to fight. And like, if I win, I'm out of here. But if you win, you can. Because at first he's just like, you want me? Like, is it like that?
And why do you make that face like that? Like, you know how them girls be upset on animes and stuff, and they be like, I'm like, why would you make that face when somebody say that they want you? Like,
All
that was
I heard
weird.
in my
like,
head was when he did the side face. All I heard was Riley like, "Nigga, you gay."
Wait a second. So I'm guessing y'all watched
Oh my god.
the sub.
Oh
I know.
my
Here's,
God.
on my Netflix. For some reason had this already on. It'll have it on sub sometimes and on dub sometimes. But on this particular one, because this scene right here was funny. The reason why, because he said, I don't know what he said in the sub, but in the dub he said, if you win, you can take. I'll go with you, and you can take my ass.
Yeah, he said my sword or my ass.
Yeah,
My sword and my ass.
And
I was just like, you just why you offer that to him? He didn't say.
I didn't even want
Well, I'm just
that.
saying, like, real talk is like, if you lose a fight to this man, and that's what he wanted, what you gonna do anyway? Like,
You would have, bro. No, I'm not gonna
I'm
just
just
lose the fight.
saying.
But like, all right, here
saying,
the case.
it doesn't. All I'm saying is like, it's not like if he beats you in a fight and literally can disable you as a human being, he can
You
take
gotta
it.
take.
he
You
can
gotta
take
take it
it.
by force.
He can take your cheeks. The whole point
Yeah.
is that if he wins the fight, he can take it by force anyway. Is my point.
Take it by force, then.
Yeah, right, do that. I'm going out like a G.
Hey,
I
oh,
ain't just gonna-
you incredible,
I'm
man.
just
You
gonna
beat me in a sword fight, man. Go ahead and.
Straight cheeks. Straight cheeks. Yeah, I'm gonna put these cheeks on the
What?
platter for you.
Listen, we know where Brennan's there, but this. All right,
Right.
man. You superior, man. Go ahead. I just
Go ahead,
get
take
down
it.
for
Not at all.
dog for your
No,
ass.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying he's stating the
Smash
obvious.
Bros.
I'm just saying he's stating the obvious. Is my point.
But it
It's-
escalated so
Yeah,
fast. Like, I
fast.
just want you to fight for me. Like, why do we take it to that next level?
Yeah.
So
Right.
So what happened if you lose in Smash Bros? Brennan, you put your ass up on the line. That's what happened.
You're missing the whole point of what I'm saying. You guys are missing the entire point, but I'm
I thought
okay
I
with
was a
that.
Smash Brothers kid.
No, I
but
get
you
what
know
you're saying.
Brennan,
Like,
I get you.
if he wins, how's it gonna stop him anyway? I
Thank
understand
you.
what
So
you're
like, what's
saying.
the point even putting that up on the platter as a bet? I'm just saying if that's what
Because
he
he's
wanted,
insulting him. He's insulting him and he's cocky. And he's just like, there's no fucking way you're going to beat me. So, yeah, you beat me. You can fuck me
That's
too.
true.
What do I care? And Griffith laughs. And
Like,
Griffith
damn, you don't give a
laughs.
shit about shit. You just, I don't care.
Guts
Yeah,
don't-
and Griffith is just laughing because he's just like, you simple man. Like, you think that's what I want? Like, all right,
your
dude.
ass.
Sure.
That-
Fucking whatever.
That bet between Keenan and Brennan over Street Fighter has just elevated a whole nother level.
Titles
my
and
God.
asses. Oh, no.
$50 in Brennan's ass. That's what's on the line.
Why's it
now.
gotta be my ass? Like, what is-
But,
Keenan didn't agree to that. You're the only person that did. So
Wait,
if
I don't
you
know.
lose-
I refuse to have this debate because you just taking so many fucking leaps. Like, just so many leaps. Brennan agrees to take it off the butt if he loses or something. It's like, oh, okay, rewind the tape. When did I say that? Either way, doesn't matter. I don't care. Rob, let's keep it moving.
so Guts draws his sword and is just like, all right, like, let's fight then. And Griffith is like, hey, like, you want to do this by force? I'm down with that. Like, I'm good with that. We can do that way if that's how you want to do it. And Casket comes out of the woods just like, oh, like throw this down. He's like, no, you stay off to the side and you don't let anybody get involved in this. This is just me and him. And at this point, it's still like a power versus speed fight here, but it's kind of flipped where Griffith is on the other side trying to overpower this dude, and or Guts is trying to overpower this dude, and Griffith is just like deflecting it, sending him every which way.
Yeah, he's very good at the misdirect, like taking his strength and the weight of his sword and just moving it away. It was just like, even the animation here was actually really dope to me because you could see the weight of the sword, how he was just moving it with his. I was just like, that's dope.
Yeah, and Griffith comes down with Guts comes down with like a huge swing, and you think it's gonna be like the end of Griffith, but he jumps like disappears into the air, like jumps up and like lands on the blade.
He throws dirt in his face.
That's right.
Yeah, he kicks dirt up in Griffith's face, and then Griffith's like, "Oh shit!" And then he's like, "Oh, I got you." And then that's when he jumps.
But he totally misses him. It's a huge, it's a whiff, and he jumps on, and Griffith ends up on the sword.
That's a real Prince shit right there.
Has a sword to his throat, and it's just like, hey man, it's done. And
that was game blouses right there. That
was game blouses
for sure. Game blouses on his ass.
But Guts is just like, man, you talk too much. I'll show you how to use your mouth in a fight. Grabs the sword with his teeth and just like
That was not
charges
planned
him.
out.
That was so
just
boss.
went in.
I've never seen anybody do anything like that in a fight. Like in anime
That's
stuff.
when you're. Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
Not saying anime or otherwise. Like I was like, everybody. I think all of us had the same thought. Like he's standing on my man's sword, and he has his sword to the throat. This is over. You know what I'm saying? Like it's over. And he was just like, nah, like it's not over.
Gotta go.
Get these hands. Get these hands.
When your ass is on the line, you go to great lengths.
That's true.
That is true.
He was thinking about that bet.
He was like, you know what it was? He was like, I'm just waiting on a sword fight. Wait, I offered my ass.
Man, but then he climbs on, he turns him over, he climbs on top of him.
Whoa.
He does.
He did.
No, I'm just fucking.
He climbs on top and just starts giving him the hands on the face, and my man is just like,
This is where I thought Griffith. I was like, okay,
he can't take
he's
a
nice
hit.
with the sword. He's nice with the sword, but he ain't nice with the hands.
That's what I thought too. I had the exact same thought, but that's a lie.
Yeah.
Obviously, my man studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
But why did he let him up? Why did he let him up?
Because he's a cocky hoe. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Guts is so cocky. Gus is one of the cockiest people in anime history.
He should have beat the
He's
dog
just like
shit
the
out
dude
of
from
him.
One Piece. Like, he wants all the smoke, like all the time. Like, he's
Who
just
is it,
like
Luffy.
Yeah, Luffy.
He didn't double tap. That's what he had to do because I mean, clearly, dude wasn't down.
We can't bring up One Piece, man. Fuck One Piece, man.
Trigger.
Wait, how many episodes have you seen in One Piece, Ice?
0 episodes.
Q, how many have you seen?
I am on officially quarantined episode number 160.
Is it good?
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but I do get pissed off with Luffy. Want to do every goddamn thing. Like, I thought we had a mission, bitch. You want all the side quests.
He's trying to get the XP, you know.
He getting all the collectibles.
Yeah.
fuck One Piece. That's all I say.
But yeah, he does let him up, and Griffith and Guts are squaring down again, and Guts charges in to try to take him down, but you know he can redirect him with a sword, he redirected him with a hand, just immediately like slams him down on the ground, pins him, and it's just like, hey, you give up or I dislocate your shoulder. Yeah.
He pulled that jiu-jitsu.
He doesn't give up, so he takes out his shoulder and is just like, all right, like you're done. He gets up and he's just kind of like, all right, like you belong to me now, like you work for me. And that's it. And everybody's kind of like cheering, like he just won. Casca, meanwhile, is just like, well, he's never said that to anybody. Like she's already like in her feelings, like, who the fuck is this dude just showing up and
get
like
my ass for the past 3 years.
Yeah. He would never take that bet whenever I offer. God damn it.
He wanted some hairy ass.
But everybody disperses and it's Guts and Griffith alone again. And Griffith tells him, he's just like, listen, I want you to join me because I'm going to decide when you die because I have a greater destiny. I have this dream. I want to become a king and like rule this land on my own.
You can't talk to me like that, bro. I'm sorry.
But how would I say that? Yeah. Did it freeze? What happened?
Wait, what happened?
No.
Oh no. It was just silence.
All I said is, no, you can't talk to me like that. That's all I said.
I agree with him. And all of a sudden it was just like,
wait, can't talk to who like what? Can't talk to who like what?
Oh no, Griff, like the way Griffith
Griffith
was talking to Guts, like I own, like you die when I say I own you now. Like, all right, I lost, okay, but you're not gonna talk to me like, you know.
Well, Guts can do something about it then. Like he'll get fucking his ass whooped again. Like he's not really in a position to do anything.
Yeah.
I think Guts is also just like, he's probably never lost before, so he's probably just like, who the fuck is this? Like, I'm sure he clearly looks up to him in that moment. Like, this is somebody who can, because he says to him, like, I admire you. Griffith tells him, I admire you because you want to push yourself. You push your limits to see where you can get to. And I think that's what tracks into Griffith is Griffith can push him to new levels, you know, to let him get better. But we come away from that scene and come back 3 years later on another battle between these two groups called the Tudors and the Midland Kingdom. And the Midlanders are getting fucking destroyed by like cannon fire. Like it's not even close. I think like their king, their people are up on the hill just like, this is going poorly. Like the Tudors are ripping us apart. And the Tudor cavalry comes in and just starts taking down all their infantry when all of a sudden riding over the hill comes Guts all on his own. One single soldier coming up against all these Tudor cavalry. And once again, even on horseback, he's got no problem with horses. He's just taking them all out, all on his own. And he probably could have kept going that way. But even so, the rest of the Band of the Hawk comes charging over afterwards. And at that point, it's a total wipe. Like the battle goes completely the other way. Midland wins. The king is fucking thrilled. Just like, who is this? Griffith and the Band of the Hawk? Like, all right, like these guys were totally worth the money. Meanwhile, he's got some of his generals who he's been like some of the people that have been with him for a while are just like, yeah, I don't know, like they're just mercenaries. We can't trust them. Like so, these seeds of suspicion and distrust are getting sown pretty early. back at camp, Guts is, walking through camp, and people are, happy that they won, but some people are pissed that he rode off in front, especially Casca, who's like, yo, let me talk to you alone, and reprimands him, just like, you took a risk. Like, you were supposed to do one thing, you did something else, you made yourself the hero, you put everybody at risk. That was not the plan. So just so you could be, have your own glory. Like, you don't give a fuck about anybody, you haven't changed at all. And at that point, Guts snaps and is just like, I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago.
Bitch.
Yeah, he's just,
I don't want to skip over something. In
go for it.
3 years' time, he totally had a transformation. Like, I don't know what kind of regimen Griffith got them on, but this motherfucker was huge.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what age he was then. In 3 years, it was like a vast difference. Like 10 years had passed.
And then
aged.
that's what's kind of frustrating for me watching this, and I'll talk a little bit about it more later. Is like, after seeing and watching the actual anime Berserk, like, those so much shit happens in those 3 years that transpire like in the actual anime that it's like he goes through fucking some of the dopest battles that they just left on the table. And even the battle that they showed was even a doper. It was a much better battle in the anime, and I'll say that later. But like, it's a lot of stuff. Because when I saw that, I'm like, damn, there's so many dope shit that happened in those 3 years that it's like, man, like. So I see he does earn like that size. He really gets it, and they kind of show it in the anime.
But they said in the beginning. I think when he about to fight the big dude, he said he's a young man or a boy or something like that. He's only a boy.
Yeah.
So he's probably maybe between 16 and 18 or something like that. Maybe under 21. So he's probably still got a lot of growing to do.
Yeah, he gets active, but one of the things is he was in a fight where he kind of got pushed around, and he like, fam, I gotta, kind of like when Jordan got bullied by the Pistons, like, I gotta put on some weight. I gotta put on some weight. I can't just come there slinging this big ass sword and fighting these big old people and just think I'm just win everything. So yeah, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, so he does get back to camp. Obviously, he's fighting with Casca, but while they're in the middle of the fight, like, it's just getting to its boiling point. Griffith comes in and is just like, "Hey guys, like, calm down, Casca. I got this. I'll talk with him." And she's like, "You always go too easy on him," and takes off. And he does. He goes a little too easy on Guts. He's just like, hey, we should be happy. Like, we're celebrating. Like, come join us. We've been together 3 years at this point. You've been with the Band of the Hawk. This is a reason for celebration. And kind of just like, it's in 3 years, like, you and Casca have never buried the hatchet. Like, you guys still don't get along. But Guts, it does apologize to him, and he's just like, hey, like, I'm sorry. I know there was a plan, and Griffith isn't really worried about it. He kind of just like is just like, I'm not mad at it, man. Like, you fight for me, like, that's all good. You won, like, we're good.
It's like, I still own you. We're good. Like,
but later at the castle, the king clearly honoring, really liking what Griffith and the Band of the Hawk have done. He promotes him to some sort of nobility, brings him into the court, and the other lords, we see them like whispering kind of in the shadows, pissed that they raised up this commoner to be a part of their, their higher class. And hey, well, what about, General Julius, who we saw earlier on the battlefield? And they're like, yeah, like he lost his position of favor. Like, he's kind of on the way down. And like, right as soon as they have that conversation, Julius walks past, like, they all like shut the fuck up, and it's just like, oh yeah, oh hey Julius, like, what's going on? But he knows exactly what they're talking about.
Hey, what's up, bro? You good?
But see, I want to speak to that too, because every period piece I've ever seen in like medieval times, like, these motherfuckers had to be bored as hell. They was always starting shit within the court.
They didn't have Netflix.
I'm like, it's like, I always got to be on top. Who can I get killed and lie on and poisoned and whatever? I'm like, chill the fuck out.
Wow, that's actually a great theory, that they did all of this treachery and coups out of boredom.
I think the motherfuckers was bored.
There's part of it, yeah. I think that's what else are you gonna do?
It's so many balls you can have.
You're sitting around bored in like the dark, thinking about the dude that's got more than you. You're just like, I gotta get his shit, you know? Like,
that's a great idea.
I gotta get my daughter to marry the king, not his bitch ass daughter. I gotta kill her daughter tonight.
Cause you got the time to think. Even quarantine, you think how many people you like in quarantine. You've been thinking like, man, fuck them. Like, just thinking about certain things and certain people. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm with it.
Yeah. So Band of the Hawk, during this whole thing, we're seeing a montage too of just the Band of the Hawk winning battle after battle, victory after victory, rising in prestige. And we do come to this next battle where they are assaulting another castle. And once again, Griffith is just like, where the hell is Guts? Like, he should have been back like a long time ago. Like, there's no way he should have been in the castle this long. And we cut to see Guts and some of his men at this entranceway to a dark part of the castle, and his men are telling him like, "Hey, people went in there, they didn't come out. All we heard are the screams." And Guts is like, "Well, let me go in there and figure out what the fuck happened." They're like, "No, let's get reinforcements, regroup, try to figure out what's going on in there." Guts isn't having any of it. He's
cocky as hell.
Cocky as hell, still going for the individual glory. He's just like, I'm going in there by myself. If you tell Griffith, I will fucking kill you. And takes off into the dark. So he's venturing.
Is that
like
individual glory or riding for your people?
It's tough. Like, right? Is at that point, is he trying to impress Griffith? Is he trying to go for his personal glory? Is he trying to save those men? I think that's up for debate. I still
think it's a test of his own strength and will. Goes back to what Griffith said. Like, okay, all these motherfuckers died. Let me go in here and clean this up. He the cleanup man, basically.
I think he was running for his people, but in a reward of that would have been, testing his strength and seeing where he's, how much he's advanced and showing his dominance. But I think his heart was in the right place, and obviously that's me coming from knowing more about him. But I think that even just watching that, I think that he was on some I need to see what the fuck's going on and ride for my people type stuff.
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's definitely, because we saw in the scene with Casca, he's all in on Band of the Hawk. Like, he's been drinking the Kool-Aid the last 3 years. Like, he's in.
Hey, Jim Jones is that.
I was just about to say it. I was just.
But he's walking in, through the dark, and it's literally his men have been ripped limb from limb and are all over the place, like torn in half, like arms ripped off, like head split open. It's crazy.
Yo,
like Marlon said, it was ass and guts everywhere.
But he ventures to the middle of it, and in the middle of it is this dude like that looks like the Hulk, like just in the middle of finishing off with one of his dudes. And we cut back to where Griffith is, and we hear a little bit about this guy because they're just like, hey, we just found out Nosferatu Zod is on the battlefield. And they're just like, yo, who's that? And we kind of get some backstory. He's this dude that's been killing people for literally over 200 years. Like, he's been going from battle to battle. Like, they call him Nosferatu. That's kind of synonymous with vampires. So he's some sort of demon immortal person, or at least that's the legend. And it seems like that's true, because as Guts is fighting him, this dude is fucking strong. Certainly stronger than anybody else it seems like Guts has fought so far. And Guts manages to get a strike in on him. And instead of being, taken aback by that, Zod is immediately like, oh shit, you just wounded me. This is great. I can go all out.
Yeah, that's some
awesome
Goku shit right there.
Yeah, it's been years since I had to do any of this.
Yeah.
And it's funny, he was like, you're finally formidable. And you see Guts oh shit. Guts was like, you know what? I don't know if I can take this right now. He was nervous.
Has anything like that ever happened to you guys before? Where maybe if you're playing a sport or something like that, because I was watching this definitely happened to me one time. I remember I was at a rec center and I was playing basketball, and we were having a really good time, and they put me on this guy. He was I was always normally one of the shorter guys playing. I'm a short dude, and so they put me on the other guy that's the shortest guy in the other team, and I was like, that's cool, and we were playing, and I crossed him up, and he stumbled, and I just laid it up. And I remember going down the court, looking at him. He was just like, "Oh, we playing for real." And he's like, "Time out." He was like, "Time out." And he went and changed his shoes. And he came back out, and I could not do anything with that guy for the rest of that game. He was the quickest person I've ever guarded, and I didn't that was the only 2 points I scored. So I was just he apparently normally doesn't play against people that could cross him up or do something like that. And then he got excited. He wasn't mad. He was just oh shit, let me get on my shoes, but we already started the game. And then it was just
What do you have on, dress shoes at first?
Nobody comes out and play basketball and they
he had on running shoes or something. He had on these random low tops that look like running shoes. Oh, okay. And he was kind of just being chill. He was pretty casual about the game. Because it's that wasn't the beginning of the game. Our team, his team was we're going back and forth, and then it's you pass the ball around. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this guy right now because I don't think he can guard me, and I was right. You know what I'm saying? But then after that, he was just oh, okay, you actually know how to play, so we about to play. And I was just all right, well, bring it then, bro. Was not ready. Not ready.
That's classic in anime.
It takes out the weight.
It's always the villain oh, I didn't think you could handle me, but now I can let loose all that bullshit. Why you always holding back? Just end that shit. That's what happens in real life.
Rob has witnessed this happen to me before as well. Like my father, Rob. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Ping pong, right?
Ooh. Yeah, Brennan's
You thought
dad
you
is
could
a
take your dad?
beast.
Like, what the fuck?
He's a beast at ping pong or table tennis, and I got to I visited. We were doing some shooting in Michigan, and I got to stay with Brennan and his family for a little while. And
Hold on, first of all, set it up, Rob. Am I okay at table tennis?
Brennan is very good at table tennis, like because we had been on a trip for a while. We were actually in Austin before we got to Michigan, and like we met up with a friend there, and Brennan was beating this guy with his left hand only. Like I watched it happen. Like Brennan is right-handed. He was beating this dude with his left hand only. Then we got up to Michigan, and then Brennan's dad beat Brennan with his left hand only, and it was just like. Oh man! Like, and every time he'd just be like, "Oh yeah, we got this record book of like all the wins. You want to see
Rob,
that?"
we don't have to go there, Rob.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to tell this story.
You brought it up.
My dad beats me
You
with
have
his
to
left
set
hand.
it up.
My dad beats me with his left hand. There we go. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, because anytime like Brennan does seem to get a few points, he's just like, "All right, cool. Like I'll switch to the right hand," and then it's over. Like it's just boom.
Oh
boom,
no,
boom,
Rob!
boom.
I appreciate you giving me credit there. My dad never switched to the right hand against me. He's never done that.
I was trying
appreciate
to give you some help, man.
He's never switched to the right hand before. And just for the right, I only played my dad with my right hand, and I have never beaten him. And yes, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But I beat pretty much anybody else I've ever met in person with my left hand.
Table tennis is tough, man.
It's table
It's
tennis.
tough.
Calm down. Fucking table tennis.
Ice over here just like, oh, I don't consider this a real thing, so it's nothing. Calm down. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
It's tough to play, man.
Yeah.
It's an Olympic sport.
Yeah, it is an Olympic sport.
It is.
barely.
I guess so.
I'm
So is trampoline. I guess.
I'm an Olympic curler. Oh,
Keenan, I'm gonna
Thank you
send
so
you. I
much.
mean, Ice. I'm gonna
That's my
send you.
lifetime dream.
I'm gonna send you a video of like the top table tennis players playing, and I think your opinion might change. You're gonna be like, that's some crazy
That
shit.
shit is amazing.
It's amazing.
I've watched.
I'm like,
I agree, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't give a fuck. It's table tennis. Like, come on, it's table tennis.
Go ahead, Rob.
So he does. So Zod is
this big. Come on now.
Zod hits him with the "This isn't even my final form," and
Did
you know.
anybody else have an answer for the question? Brennan proposed the question. Then
Oh, that's what I'm
answered
saying. Anybody else?
stories.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like, what
You
the-
just pissed
what
me
is
off,
it?
Ice. I apologize.
Yeah.
Ice, has it ever happened to you?
Oh yeah, I mean, a few times. Doing football.
The way you said, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's something that they always teach you in school. Is like you think you the man. Like when I got to college, that was one of the things they said. Like you was the man in your city. You might have been all state, all whatever, but like now you in the you Division I, you with other people that was the man. Like so, who gonna be the man? You know, at the next level. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's a
And you get humbled.
humbling experience.
Yeah.
An humbling experience for sure. I think one of my most humbling experiences. It wasn't even like it was like a conversation that I had because I high jump and when 6'10", 6 feet 10 inches was my height, and I was talking to who was now an Olympic. Well, he was an Olympic silver medalist in the high jump, and I was talking to him, and I'm like, what height do you usually start at? Like, what height do you come in at? Because at high jump you can come in at certain heights.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, I usually try like depending on how I'm feeling, if I want to get a good warm up in, I usually come in at 7 feet, and I'm like.
I was just like you playing, right?
You warm
That's
up
my
at
highest.
you warm up at my personal 2 inches higher than my personal record. Like, what am I doing? Why am I here?
Yeah.
Why am I here right now? Like, what am I doing with my existence? Like, I was just sitting there like, and that was kind of like how Gus was like, what am I like? All this time, all this work for but yeah, I think that was probably the most.
Q, you got one?
yeah, I used to do Brazilian capoeira for 6 years.
Oh, you dance fighter.
So, yeah. So there was a guy that came to our class. He was from another school. So we learning these combos. We had been learning for like 2 weeks, I guess. So I had it down. It's called a tesoura. So it's like scissors. So you take somebody down like a scissor kick. So I was like, oh yeah, I got his ass. And I go down and do the move. This motherfucker did not move. My legs were just on his legs. And I'm like, and I was like, no, next. Got my ass.
And he's just looking at you like, this isn't even my final form.
Where's the power?
Yeah,
You
this
didn't
ain't
even
my
put the
final
twist
form.
on it. Yeah.
Keenan.
Yeah, mine is real. Mine is similar to Brennan's, but it was a player named Larry Drew. Larry Drew Jr. His dad's NBA player, Larry Drew, coach stuff like that. At the time, he was dating Eddie Murphy's daughter, right? Very nice looking young lady, right? And I remember I was at the gym, and I was like, "Oh, he going to UNC, my favorite college too. I'm about to just kill this dude." So I lit him up, hit 3 in his face, and I'm like, "He supposed to go to UNC? I know I can go to UNC." And then he said, "Oh, he thinks I'm playing for real." Okay.
You know, somebody cold when they talk to nobody.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. When I hit those shots in his face, I looked straight at Bria Murphy. I went, yeah, this your man right here, yeah. Let me tell you something. That's when I knew. I was like, all right, I'm not D1. I'm probably NIA, whatever it's called, or D3. If this is D1 level talent right here, and he was like 6'6", 6'1" or something, he wasn't that much bigger or stronger than me. I couldn't do anything. There's certain moves when you're a certain level of a player and angles that you know that you just like, I'm not here. I'm not there for that. I didn't get trained here.
Yeah.
He just went in his bag.
And killed me.
I wish I could have been there for the humbleness of Keenan.
Y'all was playing, like y'all was high school. It was high school against high school.
No, it was like this gym called 360 Gym, and a lot of college and pro players go there to play like 5-on-5.
Oh, okay.
So you get really, really good runs against like really good players, and I knew who he was because I was looking at him going to that school to the Tar Heels. I was like, oh, he's an incoming freshman, and I was just like, God damn, I thought I could play D1. I can't.
Rob, what about you?
Yeah, kind of like similar to Q's story. I did some karate like way back in the day for a while, and I just remember we used to do like sparring drills. Like sometimes our classes would just be like, all right, everybody get your sparring gear. Like we're just gonna basically just take turns, like rotate through people, just do matches and stuff. I remember there was this one dude. He was a smaller guy, but like this dude was fucking fast. Like when he got into during the sparring matches, he was fast. He was one of the best fighters we had at the dojo. And I remember there were one or few times, like I beat him once or twice, but I remember definitely many more times, like I'd get like a point in on him and it'd be like, oh, okay. Like, and then we get into round 2 and it's be like, I just sit back down like after that match, just like, oh fuck, man, like he's not messing around. Like he's fast.
Rob, what do you do that second round? What do you do?
He come in like with everything, man. It was nuts. Like he came in with the flying fists of fury, man.
Thank
he
you,
was
Ice.
fast.
That was amazing. Thank you, Rob, for doing it again. Thank you, Ice, for asking for it.
Brendan and Keenan have this made me think about it, and tell me if you've experienced this. But like you've been to a dance party, and we've talked about this before. You've been at a dance party and you dancing on somebody, and then she like, yeah. This what you thought? You thought this was, hold on. You were just like,
Inflatable.
Where's the balance?
Where's the wall? I need a wall.
You gotta start working on your core.
You think you like, oh yeah, I'm in here. She's like, what? Hold on, this isn't even my final four.
Like you said, your core trash out here.
I'm like, you trying to reach back for the wall, like, or somebody like help. I'm about to fall.
You looking for your homies, like, help me.
Yes, I've seen it in the club. His homeboy had to put his shoulder into him to keep him up while the girl was just throwing it. He was like, support me.
Oh man,
we detour so bad. Go ahead, Rob.
So now Karatu, I know.
Yeah, so Zod is going into his like big demonic like cloven hoofed like Satan form, and is at this point Guts has got no chance. Like he's getting slammed around, and it's literally only Griffith and the Hawks showing up in the nick of time, like throwing a bunch of like arrows into this dude's back that saves Guts from certain death. And he's as Zod turns around and is just again mowing down the infantry. Griffith like runs around to try and get Guts, help him out, tells Casca to just get everybody out of there. And Zod's just like, oh no, like where do you think you're going? Turns around on these guys, but they split up, like wound him, both of them, and he's just like, all right,
if I take the right.
Yeah, he's just like, all right.
You know what I hate? And this is just nitpicking. I hate when people be talking but their mouth don't be moving. That shit always piss me off. Like,
Yeah.
like Aladdin, like in Aladdin, like when they just be a big figurehead talking and like that always made me mad.
But I wouldn't skip past the way he was manhandling and ragdolling these soldiers. He picked a dude up and just ripped him in half.
Yeah,
Bro, yo, come on, man. This dude's a monster. Like, I mean, he's literally a monster. But damn. Yeah.
Yeah, but both Guts and Griffith are able to land hits on him, and he just gets even more excited. Like, oh, great! Now there's two of them. You know, like he's pumped, but he's just like, well, like I gotta kill them both now. So he's literally about to like deal Griffith the death blow when he notices the Philosopher's Stone that we were shown earlier, and he's just like, oh,
Philosopher's Stone.
he's just like, oh shit! He's just like, it's this the egg of the king is what he calls it, the Crimson Behilt, and he's just like, he kind of again talking to no one, just like, so that's their plan, and he turns around to Guts and he's just like, hey, if this is your guy, if this is your friend, I'm gonna let you know right now, this guy is gonna lead you somewhere. His shit is gonna fall to pieces, and he's gonna take all of you with him. If you want, like, if that's what you want to do, like. You think he's your friend? I don't know about that. Like, good luck, basically.
That was that Black Mama vibes right there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if the demon from hell,
your friend.
if me and my homie who I've been riding with, who has a weird necklace that has like its own face and aura and shit to it, we about to die. And that demon that's destroying all of us and had ripped man in half with his bare hands looks at that shit and looks at me and says, yo, this dude is terrifying. You need to stay away from him. And then blows up the ceiling and flies away at damn near the speed of sound. I'd be like,
yeah.
You know what, guys?
Yeah. I gotta think about this.
I'm on this. Like, I can handle myself. I don't need any of this aspirational shit. You already had my ass for 3 years, so quit
I would
that.
think he was just off the top. I would think he was a bad motherfucker. You've been fighting in the nude for 300 years.
Yeah,
Like, I'm even fucking close. I'm whipping ass out here.
He doesn't need any armor.
You just out here slinging two swords. Like, that's what we doing. You just got two swords
on me, man.
Who's fighting somebody naked? Like, I'm done. Like, that's how I get to do it. You naked, I'm done.
That's the person that's out here taking the ass for real.
Oh man. So as he does like take off out of there, like the speed of sound, like Brennan said, they're kind of just regrouping. I guess they won basically because this guy by default. And Casca is pissed. Like, she's scratching over Griffith. We're not sure how hurt he is. She turns around and tells Guts like this is all his fault, making their relationship even worse. Later on, we see Guts is healed up and training, clearly feeling guilty, thinking about what Casca told him. And he's doing his whole Kagehisa thing, cutting up the leaves with his sword. When Griffith approaches him, it's just like, hey man, like that was some real stuff back there. And they kind of talk about like what happened. We like Griffith says, hey, like it's crazy that there's something out there bigger than us. Like it's kind of, he compares it to a god, and Guts is just like, I don't know about a god. That looked like a devil to me. Yeah. And Griffith is like, I don't know if there's a difference, which was kind of some deep shit. And Guts then asks him about like, well, he noticed that thing on your neck. Like, what is that? And Griffith is very nonchalant about, he's like, oh, this old thing, kind of takes it out. He's just like, yeah, I got this from like an old lady fortune teller on the street when I was a kid and told me you'll rule the world in exchange for your flesh and blood. Like, nothing ominous here. Like, as some old like fortune teller gives you some cursed item, like I wouldn't be that happy-go-lucky about it. He's just like, oh yeah, you can look at this, you can hold it, whatever. And Guts is examining it, and like the eyes on this thing, like Brennan mentioned, it's got like facial features, and two of the eyes like open up and look at Guts, and he like tosses the thing, starts to fall backwards. Guts grabs him, or Griffith grabs him, and brings him back, and kind of just laughs in his face, like, yeah, isn't this crazy? Like, isn't this a cool thing I got? But as they're having that conversation, out of the palace comes the king and his whole retinue of people. And Griffith immediately falls down to his knees, and Julius, who's with him, sees Guts isn't kneeling. It's just like, hey, asshole, like kneel down. And Guts kind of doesn't feel like he has to until Griffith gives him the eye, and it's just like, this is what we got to do. So, but he does fall in line, and the king is very complimentary to them. He's just like, you guys are doing good work out there, very happy with what you've been doing. And behind him, Griffith notices his daughter kind of peeking out from behind a column. And
who that girl over there?
Yeah, and the king is just like, oh yeah, that's my daughter, the princess. Forgive her. She's pretty shy. Doesn't really like soldiers. But clearly, she gets hit with the prince vibes because as she's walking,
Prince vibes, yeah.
she was walking by Griffith and gets distracted and trips over. Dress is about to fall down the stairs, and Griffith saves her, from injury.
I feel like Griffith was like, "Oh, you haven't seen me before."
Griffith's got game, bro. He got game.
Yeah, but he saves her, and he's kind of, hey, you all good? You okay? Spitting the game a little bit. And Julius comes up, just like, what are you doing touching the princess? Slaps the shit out of him. And
Guts. Shit. Should I let her ass tumble down these fucking stairs and
right?
Yo, just for the record, this is the moment that Griffith made a decision in my eyes. But as you were saying, he made a decision in this moment. He was just like,
well, that's your ass.
Okay.
That's
You ever
your
see somebody do
ass.
some shit like that? They just get slapped. They just or something happens to somebody.
Yeah, because Guts is immediately like, hey, watch what you say. And Griffith kind of puts his hand. I'm like, no, we're good. Sorry about that, princess.
Gus wanted to smoke. Gus was with it.
Yeah, because he's a planner.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, your days is
Yeah,
numbered.
Griffith he's plotting at this point. He's plotting. And as things progress later on, they're at a royal hunt. The Band of the Hawk is now the royal bodyguard, so clearly coming up in their station. Guts is annoyed by this, is just rather be on the battlefield. Others are just like, this is what we fought for. This is the cushy life. This is what we wanted. Meanwhile, Griffith is literally hanging out with the princess and kind of talking with her. She's telling him she doesn't like hunting or violence. And he tries to cheer her up by showing her how to make weird sounds with a leaf. I don't know if you guys ever had that thing where you could put a blade of grass in between your thumbs and kind of make that sound. That's what reminded me of. I could never do that. But
nope, me either. Could never do it. I used to hate that shit. Or the acorn. My mom always used to do the acorn thing.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's like a little whistle you can make out of a blade of grass.
You can do the same thing with the cap of the acorn.
The only thing I know about is making a whistle out of raisin box.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say that, but I was like, maybe my experiences, how I grew up isn't the same. So, thank you, Q. I appreciate that.
Good whistle.
Different instrument, same principle. So he teaches her how to play the leaf, and clearly, things are growing.
That shit was subliminal.
Yes.
Play the leaf.
True.
Yeah.
So you see how my lips are on
It's
here.
me.
But in the distance, Julius is watching this and just hating his life, and his lackey comes up and is literally like, "Do we kill him now, boss?" And he's like, "No, just chill for a minute." And sure enough, shortly after that, a boar comes charging out of the underbrush and scares the princess's horse, and it just takes off. And Griffith goes after her, and that's when Julius gives this guy the nod and is like, this is the time. But Griffith chases after her, manages to, jumps onto her horse, slows it down, is just like, hey, it's all right. She's scared, and he calms her down. And as, things are settling, the rest of the Band of the Hawk show up to help out. And Griffith hops down off his horse and is just like, yeah, hey, we're good here. And is midway when the arrow takes him whack right in the chest. I ain't
gonna lie, I laughed, man. I was just like, oh, I knew it was coming, but he was like,
yeah. But he's fine. He got lucky. The egg, the Crimson Behilt saved him. This little cursed item that he carries around with him. I'm sure that will come up later. Yeah,
I thought it was pretty dope too. That that's fucked up. I think it was dope that Gus was like the luck of the devil.
Yeah.
Damn.
yeah.
Yeah, this egg thing definitely kind of reminds me of the Philosopher's Stone, but also very much like a One Ring sort of vibe from Lord of the Rings. This thing's got some weird malevolent intentions. It's another character on the stage. We just don't really know it. But Griffith is fine. But he does tell people hey, this arrow probably poisoned. Don't touch it. And Guts is just he gathers up his guys and they're about to ride off into the woods. But Griffith knows exactly who did this, and he locks eyes with Julius in the distance.
That was hard.
And they were just boom.
He looked like I'm on your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, all bets are off now.
That
all
was
bets
probably
are
the most
off
sinister
now.
he's looked this whole time. When Griffith
Griffith?
did, yeah, he was like, "Don't let this pretty boy shit fool you."
Yeah, man.
Because
Crystal
up
blue
until
eyes.
then, he just been Oh yeah, like, even when he's killing people, he's just
He
like,
ain't been moving
oh,
like
yeah.
that. Don't play my man.
But now he was like, shit is serious. It's real out here. Like, you really tried to come for my life.
Yeah, back at the castle, Julius is completely taking it all out on his son, his poor son Adonis. He's training him harshly and berating him. Kind of just like throws a towel on him, like clean yourself up. I'm fucking out of here. Like,
Yeah.
and the kid's like no, Dad. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I just keep thinking of Drake's son. Adonis is your son. And he did yours. One of the Adidas press run. That's real. Like I just thinking the Pusha T this and his son Adonis is just.
I was thinking about Adonis Creed.
Adonis Creed.
Yeah, out
Yeah.
here fucking with Michael B. Jordan.
And I feel bad for the kid because the kid's just like, hey, like, no, I want to keep going. Like, Dad, like, I can do this. And the monk that's there is just like, hey, like, no, it's good. Like, let's get you cleaned up. Like, he's had a bad day. You know, he's trying to just take care of this kid. He's like, let's take you upstairs, get you cleaned up. Your dad's had a tough life, you know, basically. That's why he acts this way. Don't take it personally. Back at camp, Griffith, we get a quick scene where we see somebody with a mask, waiting outside the castle, and flashback to the Band of the Hawk. Griffith is telling Guts, like, hey, this is Julius's family poison. Like, his whole family, like, it's very rare. I know it came from him. Like, this is our moment. Like, we have to kill him. I'm asking you to go break into the castle and assassinate him. Don't let anybody see you. And Guts is kind of just like, yeah, I don't even know why you'd ask. Like, just tell me to do it like you normally would. Like, of course I'm going to do this for you, because he thinks that, like, he's a friend. You know, like, I'm here for the cause. So, like, of course I'm going to do it. And we get back to him outside the castle, and he sneaks in, doing his Metal Gear Solid thing, like sneaking up, killing the guards. We get into Julius's chamber, and he's having a bad day, throwing his fucking wine cup into the fire, slamming the table, pissed, that now Griffith is getting, the props for saving the princess, and the window like blows open, and he's just like, oh, the damn wind. But as he's turning around to fix it, he sees Guts waiting for him in the corner, and he goes to reach for a sword, but Guts is too fast, too strong, and they parry a little bit, but Guts like opens him up from like belly button to neck, and as Julius is falling, he grabs onto his mask and pulls it down, and it's just like, I recognize you, like, you're one of Griffith's men, and just like dies.
Meant nothing.
Hey, aren't you? So Guts is cleaning up his sword, like trying to get out of there, when he hears somebody on the other side of the door, knowing that he has to, kill anybody before they see him so they can get away with this. He just charges through the door and like stabs through it and just takes whoever's on the other side. And it turns out it's Adonis, the young kid that we just saw. And they're both just like completely shocked by this. Like, Guts is horrified by what just happened, and this honestly broke my heart, because like the kid just like reaches out with his hand,
gasping for air. You feel like the blood is filling up in his lungs, and he's just like,
I'm gonna tell you, the first time I saw this,
on it.
I for real cried, because that baby put his hand out, like just hold me. I don't know.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
That was so sad.
Yeah, because he's scared, and obviously Guts feels horrible about this and holds his hand and like just is there for him while he dies. And unfortunately, that moment,
that part gave Brennan nightmares for 3 days.
I mean,
is it Brennan?
I mean, I'm not gonna say it gave me nightmares, but I will say I did not enjoy that part at all, for sure.
Dog,
it was really sad.
When he coughs with the blood at the end too.
Yeah.
That's what got me.
That's what got me, is that because you knew where it was from. You knew from it was from the blood filling in his lungs. Like, he was choking. He was drowning.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's crazy.
I was like, I was hoping it's like, well, maybe they could save him. And he was like, blah. I was like, all right,
Yep.
all right.
No, he got nailed to the wall.
On his lab. He said it.
Oh my God. But that moment, that one moment of humanity that that Guts offers him, it costs him like it's got a high price, because if he had just run, he might not have seen these other people. And the monk comes around the corner, sees what happened, immediately calls for the guards. They come in, and Guts has just got to get the fuck out of there. So he's just like cutting people down, grabbing guards, using them as like body shields. But one of the arrows does hits him in the arm, but he just before he manages to jump over the castle wall down into the moat and get away. at the Hawks camp, they're all partying, reveling in their good times. They're back at the castle. Everybody fucking loves them. They're having a great time. They're just like, hey, where the hell is Guts? And you're like, he's probably out just training or whatever. And sure enough, he comes in right then, like dirty, like blood on him, soaking wet, like 1,000-yard stare. And like Casco like runs up to him and is just like, hey, like where the fuck have you been? And he's just like, where's Griffith? And they're like, oh, he's at the royal ball with the princess. And Guts just turns around and just walks out. He's not here to talk to anybody else. And at the party, Griffith is with the princess. They're catching some air. He's wooing her, and she's eating it up like, Griffith, you're so brave and handsome and smart and handsome and strong and handsome and. And he's just telling him all about his life philosophy, violence can be horrible, but like knights do that to protect the things that they love and they honor, and like, so it's a double-edged sword of a good thing and a bad thing. And yeah, he's got her like totally wrapped around his finger at this point. She's eating this all up. And Guts comes upon this, and he and Casca do come upon the scene, and Guts is just about to walk right up to him. And when Casca stops him, it's just like, look at yourself. Like, you're going to embarrass him. Like, you can't just walk. Like, wait until they're done at least. So while this is going on, the two of them are here for this to get some simultaneous fucking gut punches. Because Casca's like cleaning him up, wrapping up his wound, trying to make sure Griffith is okay. Because as much as she doesn't like him, like, they're on the same team. But while she's watching this, like, we see her heart break, obviously, because we see Griffith trying to woo the princess, and she knows that she'll never be good enough because he has these dreams of being a king. Like, if he wants to be king, these are the kinds of people that he's got to rub elbows with. These are the people that he's going to be into, not, some sellsword mercenary who he works with in the field,
Yeah, but they all got it's a love triangle between the three of them. It's like, it's hot.
It's a quadrangle. There's a lot of parties involved too. But the part of it that was devastating for Guts is as she's eating this all up, the princess is just like, wow, you're so fascinating. Like, no wonder all these people follow you. Like, no wonder you have all these friends that want to follow you. And he's just like, yeah, they're my soldiers. They're not really my friends. Like, they're just like people that follow me. Like, they don't even have their own dreams. Like, they're here to just like help me get to mine. Like, he basically is just like, these are my friends. These are tools. Like, these are just the tools that I'm using to get to what I want. Like, they don't have dreams. And if they don't have dreams, then they're not my equal and I can't respect them. And it kind of goes back to what Guts was saying at the beginning of like his philosophy is, well, you can't eat dreams. So he hasn't been worrying about that. But now he's realizing that not having dreams is having this guy that he thought was his friend looking down on him as a fucking second-class citizen this whole time. Like, he never had any respect, and he just did the most horrible thing he's ever done in his life because he thought this dude was his friend. And that was fucking devastating. So
yeah.
Rob, I don't know if you have it down, but I had the speech he gave to her, like the monologue basically.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I ran that shit back because like what we going through right now, when he was talking about his dream, I was like, dude. So I wrote it down if I could read it.
Go for it.
Okay.
And she's like,
that's some deep shit. Yeah. So he said, when he was talking to her about dreams, he said, men are driven to pursue it. So driven that they do it entirely for their own sake. It's their dream. Men yearn for their dreams, regardless of their class and no matter their achievements. One can be sustained by their dreams, hurt by their dreams, revived by their dreams, or even killed by it. And even when one has been abandoned by their dreams, even then, it will smolder in his heart forever. One should know what it feels like to have something to strive for, such as goals. What does he say? To willingly martyr himself to the gods named dream. I was like, this motherfucker deep.
That is deep.
That is.
It's very deep.
Damn.
All the moisture.
Shit.
all right then.
All right.
And he's getting it too.
Hey, Rob, you got some run for
part.
your money now.
No, the funniest part is what I was about to say before you said that. I was like, that sounds like something Rob would say. That's what I was just about to say.
Okay, Rob, I'm going to send this to you in email, then I want you to send me a recording back. And I won't share it with nobody.
Only
It's for fans
Rob.
only. Fans only.
Imagine.
My birthday is
walk-
July 1st.
Who?
My birthday is July 1st.
Hey, yo, send me the email. I'll coax him into doing it.
Hey, can you, hey, Rob, can you do this script read for us, please?
I know, right? Yeah, Rob, we need some VO.
I'm gonna start reading like, wait a minute.
God damn.
Keep reading, damn it.
Q got me.
Imagine walking in on your lady and you think she watching porn, but she over there like this.
What the fuck?
Just listen.
We're listening to
You
it.
like, what are you doing? Shut up.
It's the good part.
That'll be worse, actually.
Yeah, just
Really?
a
You think
single
so?
tear. Like, oh,
Yeah.
man. Close the door.
Things that could have been.
What? This is how you cheating on me?
Oh man.
Old school.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna put this voice memo on real quick before we do it. I'm Mrs. Rob.
But so Casca at that point is basically like, hey man, like let's get out of here, and turns to Guts, and Guts is standing there like shaking, like he's so torn up by like what he's hearing, you know, as this dude that he's been looking up to and fighting for 3 years basically calls him a parasite. But before they can leave, somebody comes out of the castle, just like tells him exactly what happened, like screaming, you know, somebody just killed Julius and Adonis, and the princess is, you know, of course, like horrified by this. Griffith is just standing there totally stone-faced, knowing, you know, hey, he did exactly what he needed to do, and Griffith, and Guts just kind of turns around and walks off in silence, and Casca, you know, is calling after him, kind of just like, hey, like, where do you go? Where are you going? And then kind of looks, like, hearing all this, like, seeing what he looks like, how he's been acting, seeing the wound, puts it all together in that moment, and is just sort of left there on the stairs, realizing what Griffith has asked him to do and what really is happening. And that kind of brings this chapter to a close, but we do get a very quick, like, kind of on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, you know, a few flashes of what's to come, lots of big battles.
More CGI titties.
Well, more CGI titties, yeah. Lots of so it's there's a lot more to come in this story.
All right.
All right. Well,
Q.
Yeah, Q. We gonna save you. We gonna save her for last. This is her.
I want her to go first, since she over here with the gangster shit.
God damn. I don't give a fuck what you guys say. I am gonna give it an 8,500.
Whoa, what?
Okay.
What?
Go ahead.
Okay, go on.
Why?
I liked the style. First of all, because I'm a visual artist, so the styling of this was magnificent. And like I said, they didn't use CG too much. I like the story. So without knowing the actual background, like Ice was saying, he knows the story a little bit better. The manga, the original anime. I just like what they gave to me. I would have liked that 3-year span that they left out from what you were trying to explain to us, but I like the flow of the story. I like the characters. They slowly give more background into everybody, you know, throughout the arc, well, the next 2 arcs. But right now, I like it. I like the treachery. I like the fights. I like the gore. I just like it. 8,500.
Okay.
All right.
Can I pick who goes next, Keenan, please?
Well, all right. Go ahead.
Rob.
I actually really like this too. For me, I didn't like the art style as much. The CGI is still, I'm not won over by it. And sometimes even when it was a 2D animation, I thought there were times where I was a little like, it got a little sketchy. But for me, I really liked the story. I can see why, you know, just like I've talked about Akira, when the movie left what I felt was half of the book out, I was super disappointed by that. If I were in Ice's shoes, I'm sure I'd be disappointed that 3 years of shit I really enjoyed reading about was left on the cutting room floor. That'd be a bummer. But I didn't need it. Like I assumed that was just how the story went. I wasn't lost. I think Guts is an interesting character. I thought that the moment with him and Adonis, and the moment with Casca, Guts, and Griffith all in the fountain, as like they're all really finding out like what a shitty narcissist Griffith is and how he doesn't really give a fuck about any of them, was like a really like gut punch of a scene. And I felt like that anger, and like they let you sit with that in a way. I feel like a lot of times in anime, sometimes they put you too much in the character's head rather than letting you kind of fill in the blanks. And I thought this story let you do that, and kind of imagine what the characters are thinking. I would keep watching this. Like I would definitely check out the next chapter. I would watch the next movie. I would give this a 7,000.
Okay.
Keenan?
Yeah, I'm with Rob in a sense, because you know it's funny. I thought Rob was going to give us the whole, yeah, it's amazing, 4,000. But his left turn, he does all the time.
He does be on the left turn.
He's a pump fake king.
I thought that's why Brennan picked Rob too, because he felt like Rob was going to gut punch her score down a lot.
No, I was just curious. I was legit curious.
For me, I'm with Rob in the sense of like I wasn't a fan of necessarily the style either. I'm not a fan of that style just at all. But I didn't have an issue with it. I enjoyed it. I thought it gave me enough action from beginning to end. It started off hard as hell. It gave when it ended, I was like, "Fuck!" I'm watching the next move for sure. Because people always hyped up Berserk to me too. Was like how dope and crazy it is. So I could probably, I'm sure Ice is gonna have a pretty low score. But like if he's saying if this to me, if Berserk the original is fire, people saying it is, it must be super fire, because I really like this and I give it a 7,200.
Ice?
Why don't you go, Brennan?
I can go if you want. I have no problem.
Go for it.
Let me say this though. Y'all keep talking about y'all don't like the style. Where I'm coming from is it was so ornate. Like the styling of their.
All right,
their
using
armor.
words motherfuckers don't understand.
You don't understand.
You just saw me on wording is hard to hear.
Side note,
Terrible.
Side note, y'all gotta go to YouTube and watch Wording is Hard with Keenan on it, because Keenan is so damn funny on that episode. Like
that wasn't me trying to be funny at all, bro.
That's the best part.
Even people in the comment section said, you know what? These are some of the hardest words that we've seen on this show so far. So
Yo, side note, there are some people hitting on Keenan in the comment section as well. Like there are, I don't know if you saw that, Keenan. Some people are like, yo, Keenan fun as hell. It's pretty funny.
I'm gonna love his dumb ass.
Yeah. Stop.
I can take care of his illiterate ass.
I got a thesaurus. That's wild.
I got a thesaurus and a Google for that man.
You know how
Never got to read. I got him.
You know how it is to say this is like, yo, I love your dumb ass. Like, and you really mean like you stupid?
But I love
That
it.
is hilarious.
Like you better be glad you pretty, goddamn it.
Cunin came on here and got all the bodies.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
yes,
This is what you know what? Because in my head, all this time for about a year, I've been arguing with y'all, but y'all can't hear me, so I look crazy. But I'm like, man, I just want you to shut the fuck up, dog. Brennan got a point. Can't hear me.
Is there anybody else? That's what she said. Right?
All right, I guess I'll give mine. I'll say I pretty much agree with a lot of what's been said. My favorite part of the show was somewhere between the fights and the storyline, and I actually really like what Rob said in the sense of not telling us what not being in the character's head to understand what they're thinking, like letting us draw our own conclusions about what's going on, because you just don't. I didn't know what was going to happen with the story, but I never was disappointed. It's not obvious, like the progression of this story. It's not like, oh, okay, now they're going to defeat them, or now he's going to kill the king and do this, or like whatever. It's just like you watching it and you're just like kind of like wide-eyed the whole time because you don't know what's going to happen because it's just all over the place. And then the fountain part, that fountain scene, like at first I was like, oh, this is a boring scene because it's just him talking to the girl at the fountain, like running his game. But then when they pulled up to see it and after the little boy died and all that kind of stuff, I was just like, wow, like there's some real shit to work out after this. Like, what are they going to do? I enjoyed it. I want to see the next one. It wasn't the best thing I've ever seen, but it was definitely a very enjoyable thing. Q, I'll actually give you a shout out. Thank you for recommending it. I'm going to give this a solid 69.50.
Okay.
What? I don't feel like we watching the same movie.
But you're trash. I mean, you're Ice. You're Captain Trash.
That's what's holding you back. You know information that we don't.
Rob, did you watch? What did you give it? I can't remember. 6,
7. You gave it a 7,000.
7.
God. So, yeah, I mean, it's so, like, these fight scenes were cool, but they weren't nothing to write home about, first and foremost. It wasn't something that, like, I was more impressed with the direction and how it was, style-wise than the actual fight scene. The fight scenes, if you really think about it, the fight scenes were garbage. Like, the fight scenes were trash. Like, you just bing, 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 hit your sword, and then it's over. Like, there wasn't no fight scene.
So we just gonna forget the whole finesse of Griffith.
No, let him talk. Let him talk. Let him talk.
Okay.
Let him talk.
The whole finesse of Griffith win. When
Just finish it.
All it is like I said, all it is back and forth, bing, bing, and then stabbing. That's it. The initial fight in the beginning, from a stylistic direction point, was cool. But if you look at what that fight scene is, it's garbage. And I was like, okay. Maybe I was like, let me remove what I know about the show, because my score that I'm gonna give would be a lot lower if I took that into effect. But I'm like, let me just take this for like not knowing anything. And it's like, this is still like, if they don't add that part at the end, kind of saying there's a second part, that is a terrible way to end the movie. That is a terrible way to end the movie. Like a conversation and you overhearing the conversation, like. You don't end stuff like that. The saving grace was like, oh, here's what's coming up next. But it's like,
but the scene before. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What you mean? But
the scene before it. The scene before it was him killing a dude and then having the moral, like the thing with the kid and shit. Like that was the scene that led to the conversation.
But you don't end a movie like that.
Obviously you do.
As a trilogy. It's not set up as
a set up as a trilogy. It's not a standalone movie.
But still, you don't like. There's other, especially knowing Berserk. There's way better places that they could have ended that.
All right,
it's like,
keep going.
So you ended at the conversation. It's like, and I like Guts and as a character, but it's like this ain't it. Like this ain't it. And 6,000.
That felt like a pump fake.
That for me,
that was a Rob damn near.
Yeah, that was a pump fake right there. I thought you were gonna be like 2,000.
Yeah.
No, because I had to.
That's still a C, ain't it?
Yeah, that's a C. That's a C minus.
I had to take out like.
What would you give it? What would you give without taking it out?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be like a 4,000, a 4,500.
What?
Because it's like they leave so much on. Like, watch if y'all ever get the chance, either read the manga or watch the actual Berserk. Like, Guts is that dude. Like, Guts is that. Like, you might have got it from there, but like Guts get fucking after. Like,
but that's the thing. Movie, I think we got 2 more movies that they're saying is even better than this one.
Yeah,
we're about to get that in those.
Wow, yeah.
Even if just by this movie alone, there was so much that they left out in this part. I will say that's why I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. Any establishing movie is usually not good. Like the first Captain America, garbage. Winter Soldier, fucking amazing. So like I that's why I'm giving it the 6,000, because I know they building this world, they establishing it. I see what they're trying to do. It wasn't a mess to where it's like you got to give it a pass and just wait till the next one. It's not that bad, but it's so many things that they left on the table. But if it follows suit, like the second one is going to be wicked, but the third one, and if they make that fourth one, wicked, which I wouldn't even mind. Granted, I don't like CGI, and when I saw the CGI, I took a deep breath. Like,
I don't like CGI either, but I was cool with this movie.
I was cool with this one, and it's another anime that's on Netflix now. Dora, like they really do that CGI stuff really good too. But the third one and when if they do make a fourth one, those two are gonna be fucking wicked. Like yeah.
You gotta separate the art. Like this movie it could be a standalone. It's just a piece of art by itself. That's like books that they turn into movies. It's never gonna compare. So you gotta take that piece of art alone and grade it.
But I don't think this. There's no way, shape, or form this one can stand alone by itself. No way.
So all right, Q.
No way.
So Q. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. Do you have anything that you want to like? What you got going on that people can direct people to see more stuff that you make?
Right now, I'm just really trying to get my podcast back up and rebooted. It's called Geeky Sexual and Intellectual. So I just talk about everything across the spectrum of geek life, whether it's comics, anime, sex, politics.
Can we do a whole segment on Rob?
Hell yeah!
Oh, hell yeah. I like this.
I like the energy.
Keep that energy.
Like, today's episode is about wonderful white men.
I just like making Rob uncomfortable, and you are so good at it, Q. You are so good because you don't know, like that's Rob's uncomfortable face right there. Like that is it.
Yeah, Brennan knows this about me. I don't take compliments well, not because I don't appreciate them. I of course do. I'm always just like, okay, thank you. Thank you.
This is Rob be like, thanks, man. Like that's the only
thanks.
You gotta say, I love you, man. You like, oh,
thanks, man.
Yeah. No, the best is like
thanks
every morning. Hello, Rob, in your fabulous voice.
For example, I'm going to be
Thanks.
fully authentic in this moment right now, okay? Everything I'm saying is from the heart. Watch his face. Watch his face. Rob is legit one of the smartest human beings I have ever met. It is an honor to work with him every day in the office. He literally makes everything he works on better, as proven by an example of how he worked with us on this podcast and meetings that we've had. And Keenan and Ice can speak to that as well, is that every situation that Rob is in is better because he's there. Because he's a phenomenal human being who does everything he can to be in addition to every situation he's in.
I can feel all
Thanks,
of it.
man.
I can feel all of it.
I have so much love for that man. I have so much love for
Oh,
Rob.
thanks. I love you too, man.
Yes.
Love for everybody here.
Yeah.
All right.
But besides that, besides the podcast, I have a couple of things like merch on my website over at gadgetsandgeekery.com. I'm trying to get that going because, motherfuckers got
I had a
dreams
question,
of me.
Q. That one that you sent, that the pixel thing. What is it like? Something that sits on your desk? Like I was kind of confused what that was.
Yeah, so I guess I want to say about a year ago, I was at a con, and fucking figures cost a lot of money. So I started seeing these these flat acrylic figurines coming up, and so it's like a third of the price that you get a 3D figure for. So I had an artist make a mascot for Gadgets and Geekery. So I was like, this is so freaking cute. I was trying to find somebody to do some 3D art with it and something with it. So I reached out to a couple of artists. They was like, hey, I make these acrylic figures, but I don't produce them myself. I have a supplier in China that makes them. So here's this information, and the shit was like this. I wrote the woman. I told her what I wanted to do. She said, send me the image. I had a sample in 5 days from China. So I'm trying to sell those. So I'm pre-ordering right now. So if I get enough sales, and I'll order the the bulk. If not, I got to give everybody back their money.
Okay, so Q.
So let's get that for it to get going.
Yeah, let's get it going for
Yeah,
it.
make sure. Yeah.
Q, can I give you a tip that was taught to me by one of my mentors about the power of speech? Is that I found that if you do your best to remove the word try from your vocabulary, it adds power to whatever it is you're saying. So, for example, you just said, I'm going to try to get my podcast up and running. It's like, but in the reality, you're not trying at anything. Either you do it or you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm going to try to get my merch up and running. It's either you do it or don't. So it's like, hey, I will have my merch up and it's going to be dope. I'm going to have my podcast done. It's going to be dope. Because putting try into a sentence is an inherent excuse for failure. Because you're like, all right, well, I tried, So all I'll say is that I believe you will do it. Because I've seen the things that you are doing, and I believe that you could speak more powerfully because of the things that you create, and you create things with your words. So that's it.
How many pre-orders would you need to fulfill the order?
Good question.
I would need 50. So now I only have 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Send us a link.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Send us a link so we can blast it.
It made me
and
feel
we gotta
so good.
get her to 50, y'all. All of us. We gonna all support. Let's get her to 50 of them. Easy
All
work.
right. And what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is at Gadgets and Geekery. The website is the same at gadgetsandgeekery.com. That's pretty much where I live on Instagram.
All right, so go ahead and let us drop your stuff. Go ahead, Brennan.
I'm at Mr. Producer Face on the gram.
Nice.
Brennan, we didn't get no long, drawn out thank yous and why we're greats.
I know.
I'm just saying.
You know what, Keenan? You are absolutely. But you guys take compliments well. Like if I was to compliment you guys and you're good, you're just like fine. I purely did that. It was honest. I just want to see his face. I want y'all to see his face so you know for future reference.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I still remember the one compliment Brennan ever gave me. I still hurt that very deeply.
You got it framed.
I got it framed.
I am stingy with compliments. I agree.
He's given me 2 compliments in the 2 years that I've known him, so I'm taking those to the bank. He's trying to think. One of it is about my work ethic, and then the other one is about I'm good at Gallagher. That was the only 2 compliments he's ever given me in my entire life.
I stand by those.
Ice McGowan on everything.
Rob.
At RV Danger on Instagram.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it in a sultry voice, man. You know.
Yeah.
At RV Danger on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like Mufasa.
You got that
Rob,
James Earl Jones effect on it.
I need that one more time, dog. What was that?
That's Ed Harvey Danger on it.
That game is so clear. I'm mad because I don't know what's gonna pick up that clear.
I'm done.
If they don't pick up that clear
My ears
on the
twitching.
voice.
It's an eargasm.
Rob gonna take up a whole new fucking career path and just voicing like ASMR or some shit like that, whatever it's called.
He about to come on the next podcast with his chest out. He gonna have the shirt with his chest out. He going
And some
The
throat
deep
lines.
V. The deep V.
Yeah.
So, Blades of Immortal. It's a terrible anime, but I'm gonna make it sound sexy. I'm Keenan Baker at
you would
everything,
think
man.
I'm-
Keenan Baker across the board on every single thing. Let us know what y'all thought of Berserk Act 1, and let us know y'all score and everything like that. Let us know if Gadget Geekery picked a pretty good movie. As of right now, the majority of us, we actually pretty much agree with her. Even Ice, even though he says it's trash, but he gave it a C score still. So let us know what y'all think in the comment section, man. And we thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Animeshun. We out.
Peace.
All right, y'all. That was our show. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, if you enjoyed the cast of Animeshun, please find them on all streaming platforms and on Instagram at Animeshun Podcast. All right, y'all. That was it. Like I always tell you, if you want to support the show, you can do that through Cash App at $ Gadgets and Geekery, or you can also support through the Anchor app. There's a feature there for that. If you go to the website, gadgetsandgeekery.com, we have new merch, and I also have an acrylic figure that I am doing pre-sale on right now. Taking all orders the month of June, and we'll be shipping those out in July. But I need to sell 50, so put the word out. I gotta buy them in the bulk. You know how it works. So I believe that's everything. If you have any show ideas, send me an email, send me a DM. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, same communication. I'm doing a lot of podcasts right now, so I will be uploading those. I haven't had time to send out any invitations to any other podcasters or artists or cosplayers at the moment, because some reason right now your sister is hot. Everybody want me on the podcast. No, I'm just tooting my little horn. Anyway, that's today's show. I'm out.